inside these schools. Despite the board's attempt to deny it, District 196 schools are quickly becoming a place where promoting activism is actually more important than promoting education. I'll take you back to my first day at RHS this fall. The principal came out and gave us a heartfelt speech about equality and standing together. He began to list countless races, such as Latino, Asian, expressing how much they matter and how important they are. But never once did he mention a race or identity that reflects me, or half the kids that were in the class. Now, members of the board, I know you haven't been to school in a while, and I know none of you, or most of you, don't have any kids left in the school district. But you must admit how uncomfortable it will be to be characterized just by your skin color on the first day of school and be thought that you were wrong just because of your skin color. So I will never forget the look one of my friends gave me from across the room as we were sitting there listening to this blatant bias being expressed in the so-called equity statement by the leader of our school. To be clear, I don't need you to tell me that I matter, but hearing the condolences given to other races and leaving just one race out, inevitably you'll start to feel like you've done something wrong. And in our principal's attempt to unify us, he instead created unwarranted boundaries and barriers between his students, pitting us against each other based on characteristics that we can't control. In another separate instance, I was told that writing "All Lives Matter" on the whiteboard was political and could be seen as offensive. When I questioned the teacher after class, she told me that she didn't have an answer and she just had to erase it, and it was quickly erased. There are political signs all over RHS about specific races that matter, specific sexual orientations that matter, and specific perspectives that matter. But when I questioned the RHS administration about how these signs were political, they told me that they were supporting human rights. So when I questioned why the equity statement couldn't represent all students, they told me that to even ask that question was outlandish and offensive. And when I asked why that was, they told me, quote, "Whites have a pretty good situation right now," unquote. So is that not racism? Disregarding my question merely because of the color of my skin? To be honest, after enduring a year of the people in charge telling me that I'm a racist and I'm privileged and pointing out our irreversible differences, I've never noticed race more. And it's becoming the first thing I notice when I meet someone, which has never before been the case. RHS administration confidently told me that RHS students and staff are happy with their equity statement. But from my experience in talking with other students, this is not the case. I know many kids who disagree with their teachers, but they're too scared to stand up because they're worried that their grades will be docked and their learning experience will be affected. My honors government teacher, I'm not going to say his name, but he's mentioned that Democrats care more about all people while Republicans only care about themselves. And he's also inferred to us that socialism is better than democracy. He even had a statue of a socialist leader in his classroom. I've been told by a lot of kids that they just stay silent and adjust their schoolwork to reflect an acceptable opinion to secure a good grade. I've been approached by multiple teachers who have told me in private that they just want to say that they agree with me and they support me standing up, but they can't say it in front of the class for fear of being disciplined by the administration in some way or losing their jobs. There is clearly only one way to think in this district, and that is that they are teaching their kids to shut up if they don't agree. Now, members of the board, I want you to take a good look at yourselves in the mirror tonight and ask, are you really standing up for the equality of all people, or are you just pushing a damaging political ideology on our students? A fellow coworker at my job, who, by the way, is of color, discreetly told me that the schools seem to be pushing a very leftist agenda in class. This proved that not everyone is happy with your school, and not everyone who isn't happy is white. Now, due to all these instances I've mentioned and many more that I can't fit in this 5-minute speech, I have decided to leave this district and continue school on a private Christian school online. And there will be sacrifices, and I will not get to walk in the graduation ceremony or attend milestones at RHS, but I will be able to learn in an environment that is not intent on punishing me daily for my skin color and political views. Now, regardless of how you take my speech, whether you just shrug it off as malarkey or Fox News talking points, I encourage you to think about it, because someday I'm going to be a leader. I may be the president, a governor, or just a professional golfer, but I will never stop believing that everybody has value, no matter their skin color or personal beliefs, and it's a shame that you're not going to be able to say that I was an alumni of RHS in District 196. Thank you.
No, we're here to listen to you. No, you asked that we abide by your rules and set our literature here for Mr. Gronsky to pass out. And if you're not going to abide by your own rules...
And then you're going to put it in the minutes too, just so everybody knows. Put it in the minutes.
If you're not going to abide by your own rules...
Put it in the minutes.
If you're not going to abide by your own rules, I will take those back and I will pass those out myself to all of you. So it's either...
You want to start the time? I'm sorry, you cannot really make your own rules up.
It's under the Robert Rules of Order.
You just said it.
Pass them out.
The beginning.
Pass them out.
He just said it.
I don't think we should be reading it right now.
You were reading them.
Put it in the minutes too. My camera's on, so I don't need yours.
Reclaim her minutes.
Reclaim her minutes.
It hasn't started yet.
I have not started yet. I reclaim my time. It is my First Amendment right. You reset that timer.
No.
Yes.
Reset her time.
Reset the time.
Gentlemen,
Reset the time,
What's
gentlemen.
wrong with you people?
reset the time.
There's a young lady coming here.
Reset my time.
Hey guys, I sorry to interrupt, but I love how much the audience is helping and cheering her on because she is a strong, and I mean very, very strong 14-year-old girl.
Come at me. Everybody stop. Don't come at me. Don't come at me because you're out of order.
Reset her time.
Reset my
Be
time.
a gentleman.
All you gotta do is reset her time.
Start.
A little courtesy.
Reset my
Well, you
time.
guys are digging
Or I will talk over time.
Digging a hole.
Snowflakes.
At the last meeting, I sat in astonishment as Superintendent Roberts tried to gaslight us regarding public comments at these meetings. He told us how important it was that everyone speaking felt listened to by this board, regardless if the board hears things they disagree with. Oh, the hypocrisy, especially after most of this board walked out while I was addressing you at the August meeting. Then, this board's lawyer, Mr. Collins, tried to set rules regarding the content of people's speeches, but also claimed the idea wasn't to censor people. Newsflash, Mr. Collins, your rules are the very definition of censorship. Apparently, this board is not familiar with the U.S. Constitution, so I've given each of you a copy.
Wow, I just want to give her a round of applause as well. It takes a lot of dedication to go out and talk in front of a board like that. She's only 14 years old. Look how powerful she is speaking and how she's transferring her energy to the school board.
Please note the First Amendment on page 21, which clearly states there shall be no rules abridging freedom of speech. Additionally, the people have the right to air grievances to the government. So, to clarify this to you, board members, a Board of Education is the governing body of a school district, and therefore, we have the constitutional right to speak about whatever grievances we have. You can't limit the content or direct who we can or cannot talk about. If you don't want to be embarrassed or be in the spotlight, then resign from this board. If you don't want your family members to be a topic, then they should refrain from making statements on social media in regards to people who speak at these meetings. If you don't want people to refer to you as groomers and pedophiles, then follow state and federal laws and remove the sexually graphic books from your school libraries. Appeasing immorality by claiming acceptance and inclusion is not a valid argument. Claiming the books can be obtained online, no, it is your First Amendment right, and you have taken my time, so I reclaim that time back. Let me see. I reclaim my time back. I am going to continue. Not a valid argument. Claiming that removing the contested books is banning them is not a valid argument. There are no valid arguments for violating laws or infringing on constitutional rights. A quote by Wendy Jade states, "An environment that is not safe to disagree in is not an environment focused on growth. It is an environment focused on control." Board members, keep in mind that come the next election, parents will have the control. You've been exposed.
Amen.